In this video, I'm going to show you how to take your audio podcast, convert them into video clips in vertical format, and get them onto IGTV and Instagram. One note, our Repurpose software cannot directly upload to IGTV or Instagram, but we can accomplish this by sending them to Dropbox, and then we download them from Dropbox, and I'm going to show you a great tool that will let you publish or schedule videos to IGTV and Instagram from your desktop. The first thing we need to do is go to the connections page and make sure we have an audio podcast. I've done this in the previous step, but if this is the first time doing it, you would choose audio podcast, click add connection, give it a name, and either enter your podcast feed or your iTunes/Apple podcast URL. If you're not sure how to get these, you can check the previous video. We'll walk you through exactly how to do this. I've already added my audio podcast. And the next step is to add a Dropbox. So remember, we're going to convert the audio podcast into a vertical video, but we can't send directly to IGTV. So we need to first send it to a Dropbox folder. So to do that, we need to add a Dropbox connection. So I'm going to choose Dropbox from the list, click add connection. Give it a name, Hanny's Dropbox, and click connect. Pop-up's gonna come. You're gonna approve and say okay, and click done. All right, now we visit the workflow page and we're gonna make the workflow. So click on create workflow. I'm gonna give it a name. So a reminder again, this is podcast to Dropbox for IGTV in vertical format. So that's the description I'm gonna give it. Next, I'm going to say start with my podcast, and I want to convert the audio to video. And this time, I'm going to change it to snippets. So IGTV has a limit of 10 minutes max. I recommend that you keep your video clips into less than 10 minutes, maybe 2-3 minutes, maybe 1 to 3 minutes, 1 to 5 minutes max. You got to experiment around, but keep it, within the 1 to 5 minute range. So in this case, we have to, instead of choosing full episode, we have to choose the snippets option. Next, where are we sending it? We're sending it to Dropbox. So I can choose a folder. So I can click this button. It's going to pop up. I can go back and choose a folder from my Dropbox. So I already have a folder here called Instagram. Click on it and say choose. So it helps me get organized by putting all these videos inside a specific folder in my Dropbox. And then I'm going to say create workflow. So here's my new workflow, podcast to Dropbox, IGTV, vertical. If I click view episodes, and we're going to see all our episodes. Now you're going to notice one thing. You're going to notice that our latest episode, how to create 28 pieces of content from one episode, has 5 little sub-episodes. These are our clips. If you remember, when I published that episode in my podcast host, I had my 5 timestamps written in the description when I published it. The great thing is, Repurpose will automatically make those 5 clips and prepare them for me, so I don't have to go in and manually make clips. So this is a super huge time saver. But if you wanted to create a clip, it's not a problem. You can always click the scissor icon and add another clip. For example, if I click the scissor icon, it's going to load up the episode. I'm going to slide it around. I can slide this way. I can even zoom in and zoom out so I can get a precise time of exactly the time I want. I can listen to the clip, and if I'm happy, I can give it a title. For example, content is king. This is the title that's going to appear in the video itself, and I'll explain that in a second. So I'm going to go ahead and create that snippet, and it appears here on the bottom. Okay, now we're ready to publish. So we have our snippets that were automatically created, and we have a snippet that we manually created. So you have 2 choices of how you want to create your snippets. But if I go into settings, there's a couple things before we publish. First, I want to change the template into vertical. So a vertical template, if you click on preview, it looks something like this. So you have some text on the top, usually a quote or the title or something engaging about this particular clip. And then you have also some text called the subheadline below the image. And this is an opportunity to mention the episode number, maybe an opportunity to have a call to action, for the full episode, subscribe on iTunes or check us out at repurpose.io or whatever call to action text you want. And here, as usual, we have the waveform and then we have the artwork from your podcast feed, whether it's your main artwork or it's your episode specific artwork. If I go back to here, so we have 6 templates. They're pretty basic. And if you want to upload and design your own, you can click here and download a template. So I'm going to choose the blue one and scroll down a little bit. If you want to have a default text, so let's say you want all the videos to have a call to action on the bottom, that's the same. And you don't want to keep typing it over and over and over again. You could enter it here. You can say like, listen to Content Ninja podcast at repurpose.io. Intro, outro, I mentioned before in the previous video. So if you want to add a little call to action at the end of your video or in the beginning, but since we're doing it short clips, I don't recommend putting an intro to it. I recommend, if anything, leave it, don't put any intro, outro. If you want to add something, maybe a small outro. So as a reminder, outros and intros have to match your final product. So in this case, our final product is a vertical video. So we need to record and upload a vertical video here to Repurpose, and it will add it to the podcast video that it creates for you. And if you want to change the default snippet duration, by default it's 30, but let's say you want it to be 2 minutes, you can do that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and click save. So the goal is this, it's simple. I'm going to basically click publish. Subheadlines automatically in there because we put that in the settings. The title's there. I'm going to leave this as the default because I already uploaded my episode specific artwork to my podcast host. But if your podcast host doesn't allow it, you can upload a square image here, which we will drop in here in this area. Then I'm going to either schedule or publish. But since we're going to Dropbox, I'm just going to go ahead and publish it. And I'm going to do the same for all my clips. And you would go through and publish. So it's going to process, and in a few minutes, you'll have a video on Dropbox. Now they're all published. I can click on the preview icon. It will take me right to the video on Dropbox. So what you need to do here is go ahead and download it to your computer. Then I want you to go to a tool called Facebook Creator Studio. So you can find it at facebook.com/Creator Studio. Once you're there, you click on the Instagram icon. If you don't see it, you may need to connect your Instagram icon. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to my Instagram, create an IGTV post. So I'm going to choose a file I just downloaded from Dropbox. I'm going to give it a title. I'm just going to use the same title as the title of the clip. 1 episode equals 28 pieces of content. Description, you can go all out and write more descriptions. You can add some hashtags as well. Hashtags are very important. So you can add like hashtag video marketing, hashtag podcasting. Pick hashtags that match what the content's all about. You can select a cover image, but in reality is they all look pretty much the same, so I wouldn't even bother. And the most important thing is to make sure this checkbox is enabled. Share the preview to the feed. So what's going to happen is it's going to share the first 15 to 30 seconds of your video directly on your Instagram feed so that all your IG followers will see it. And if they want to continue watching, there'll be a nice button there that they can click and continue watching on IGTV. It's a very seamless, very nice experience. Instagram did a great job with this. So the goal here is I don't want you to publish right away. I want you to go in and schedule. So the goal here is we made 5 video clips. We're going to schedule 1 per day. So, Tomorrow's the 19th. The next day I will schedule the next video clip to the 20th, etc. So that way you have a whole week's worth of content on IGTV and Instagram already scheduled, and you don't have to worry about publishing to those platforms for the rest of the week. And one last thing before we wrap up, since we're publishing to Dropbox, you might as well turn this to auto. What this will do is it'll automatically create clips and automatically send these clips to your Dropbox for you. So they're waiting for you there to schedule using the Facebook Creator Studio. It's just one less step that you have to do. You don't even need to log into Repurpose for that to happen.